What's on, everyone? Jeremy here from the Cornering, and Ben Shapiro's name has been thrown around a lot in the wake of Charlie Kirk leaving us, being taken from us, and there's a lot to say about that. Now, he spoke about he will never do outdoor appearances again in the wake of what happened to Charlie Kirk. Now, I think it's fair to say, well, you're letting them win. I think that's a natural first reaction. But his reasoning is reasonable in the fact that, look, there's just too many angles. There's too much ground to cover. I mean, the Secret Service couldn't even protect Donald Trump, if you believe that's what they were doing, if you believe that Thomas Matthew Crooks wasn't put there. But either way, there's a lot in the fallout now of who will take up the mantle and who will replace Charlie Kirk. Let me be very, very, very clear. I don't like people using that language. Nobody will ever be able to replace Charlie Kirk. The work that he had done in just 30 years is unprecedented. The work he would have done in another 30 years would have transformed this country to a point that would have turned so many people to church or just good living, to family. There is no replacing Charlie Kirk. I don't like that language. Please don't use it. However, I think that it's still okay for people to be willing to take the mantle, willing to take up the mantle. Now, I know people feel a certain way about Ben Shapiro. I don't care for him, but he does have experience in like the campus tour world. I would love to see him get involved. I don't like the language of taking over, okay? But that could just be like a turn of phrase. Things are changing. Alex Jones has said he's going to do a campus tour. I got asked to do a campus tour. I don't think that's where I'm best suited. I'm a horrible public speaker. I would attend. I would help out. But, you know, that's not where I'm best utilized, but I'm happy to attend. I'm happy to stand in solidarity. I'm happy to promote them, to, you know, market them. But this comment from Ben Shapiro was initially kind of sad. But let me get into what he said and everything else going on. And because it's a Ben Shapiro video, you know, you should check out Coffee Brand Coffee. Ben Shapiro would want you to check out Coffee Brand Coffee. It's my coffee company. We roast all our own stuff. We're not some dropship coffee garbage like just about every one of my competitors. We have something like 30 or 40 blends, from ultra light roast to ultra dark to double caffeinated to, you know, exotic summer blends like blackberry cream and tiger's blood and blueberry cobbler and strawberries and cream and silky ultra dark roast. It is the best coffee you will ever have. Mark my word, or 100% money back guarantee. We also do gift boxes around Christmas, stuff like that. So if you want to support the channel and also get some delicious coffee, we also have a Kona drop coming up later this week. Go to coffeebrandcoffee.com, pick up a bag today, support the channel, and also get maybe the best coffee you'll ever have. Ben Shapiro says he will never do outdoor appearances again in the wake of Charlie Kirk's assassination. Ben Shapiro has vowed never to do another outdoor appearance in the wake of Charlie Kirk's brutal assassination on college campuses. The right-wing political commentator said there is just simply too many vantage points to ensure his safety from outdoor stages. The realization dawned on him after the 31-year-old Kirk's tragic death on September 10th while debating college students in Utah Valley. Kirk was relaying his perspective on the prevalence of trans shooters in America at the exact moment in which he was shot. Obviously, I believe that was coordinated. People want to call me a conspiracy theorist. I think he had another person on the ground, perhaps even the person asking that question, and that was timed because he had an hour to take that shot, and he took it when he did for a reason, I believe. His transgender housemate has been cooperating with authorities and was reportedly aghast when he learned of Robinson's alleged crimes. I've told my security team I will never again do an outdoor event, Shapiro said. The Free Press 2 days after Kirk's death. It is not possible because there are too many vantage points, there are too many overlooks. I think people, like, again, I'm not a huge Ben Shapiro fan, but he's just being pragmatic here. He didn't say he would never do another speaking event again, just that he would not do an outdoor speaking event. And I understand that. There's 10,000 windows, 6, 7, 8 rooftops. The crowd is enough to manage. Shapiro said it had become apparent to him that certain political figures would be targeted now and in the future, and I agree with him. But again, this is why this part is important. This does not mean he plans to stop touring or speaking about his beliefs publicly. In fact, he assured supporters he plans to ramp up his appearances at colleges and campuses across America. I'm sure that I'm not the only one this year, but if what Charlie died for means anything, it means that we have to keep actually going into these spaces and having these debates, he said. I saw a video this morning from Sam, my buddy Sam, and he mentioned something I think that was really important. He was talking about kind of the Constitution and free speech. If you look at the group of people who formulated the Constitution and decided, hey, the First Amendment is the most important thing, it's worth dying for. Those people were men, they were Christian, they were religious, and they were the ones that said truth was worth dying for. And Charlie Kirk believed that the free speech was worth dying for. These are strong men. That is the reason we have freedom of speech. The left doesn't care about that. The left doesn't care about freedom of speech. Millions of migrants pouring in don't care about freedom of speech. Middle Easterns going into Utah and putting bombs on news trucks don't care about freedom of speech. Most of their countries don't have it. I'm starting to agree with Sam that much of the Constitution is simply outdated because we are not the same country in 2025. The people that fought for free speech actually cared about it. Now, free speech and a lot of the stuff in the Constitution is just used to keep people down. It's used against us. We get to publicly plan your execution on X because free speech, said the, far leftist atheist, Satanist. I have freedom of speech. Having never fought for it, having never sacrificed for it, but happy to use it. It's going to change the nature of security, he said, just the same as when it came to airports, 9/11 changed the nature of security. Shapiro said extremists were trying to pressure conservatives like himself to stop speaking out about matters important to them, and in doing so, they would be safe. If you speak out politically, there's a good shot at some unhinged actor is going to take that as a threat and then come and try and take your life. I mean, you guys, a lot of people maybe don't know this about me, but, well, what was it? 6 years, 7, 8 years ago, maybe? A violent leftist attacked me while my back was turned on the street because he didn't like my political opinions, tried to kill me. Never, ever was criminally charged. The police in the city didn't give a damn because it was in Indianapolis. They don't care. Some white boy attacked another white boy, pass it on. We don't care. Police never charged him. Police took a report. Came to my hotel room, took a report. We'll look into it. He was never charged with anything, even though there was irrefutable evidence. Now, I didn't take every penny he had in a civil lawsuit, but, I have experienced it. I have experienced somebody trying to hurt me physically because they disagree with my opinions. And that was years ago. Now, instead of punching you in the back of the head, they're setting up snipers' nests. We now know that people are legitimately targeting folks for death at these events. We're going to have to contain the environment an awful lot more. I just don't think from a safety and security point of view that's even remotely possible anymore. Authorities said at the press conference that the shooter, Robinson, will face a death penalty if convicted. Yeah, Shapiro first met Kirk when he was 18 years old, and he had founded Turning Point USA. People, again, people don't like that Ben Shapiro has said, like, hey, I'm going to pick up the blood-stained mic. That language is a little extreme, but this time is a little extreme. These emotions, these It calls for, I believe, extreme rhetoric. I don't want Ben Shapiro to quote unquote take over Turning Point USA, but I'm not totally sure that's what he's talking about. That's what the rumors like. You know, people are saying Ben Shapiro faces backlash for picking up Charlie Kirk's quote bloodstained mic remark. I don't know that. You know, I think Ben and Charlie were very close, very close. In fact, Charlie said that at the time, I think when he was very young, there's an old tweet of his where he's like, you know, this is what I read. I think it was like the Bible. And he's like, this is who I watched. And it was like Ben Shapiro. I think these two were very close. Shapiro's comments have been construed as many folks talks about taking over Turning Point USA, which Kirk founded. Charlie Kirk, you know, Ben Shapiro posted a video on social media in the wake of Kirk's assassination. And it said, we're going to pick up the bloodstained microphone right where Charlie left it. He added that we will not stop telling the truth. We will never stop telling the truth. We will never stop debating and discussing. We will never stop standing up for what America is and what should be. And we will never let Charlie Kirk's voice die. A lot of people said, don't let him take over TPUSA. I don't think he's going to take over TPUSA, to be honest with you. I think that there's excellent talent inside of TPUSA. A young man I saw speak yesterday. I went to the Charlie Kirk vigil yesterday. A young man who I met originally when we door knocked during the presidential election. Very elegantly, passionately spoke. You know, just for a kid. You know, there's a lot of people within Turning Point USA that can step up, and I certainly would like to see them promote from within. But with Ben saying, hey, look, I'm ramping up my campus tours. Alex Jones announced that he is going to do a nationwide college campus tour to carry the torch for Charlie Kirk. Alex believes that it's time these university kids start hearing the truth. It's time they start hearing about Jesus Christ. Jesus has changed my life in ways I never imagined. Charlie has finished his race, but now it's time for all of us to step up. Alex confirming that. This is great. Oh, here's the tweet. You know, this is on April of 2018, 7 years ago. People ask all the time where I get my ideas and arguments from. I read Jordan B. Peterson. I watch Ben Shapiro. I listen to Dennis Prager. You know, Charlie was very close with Ben. And, you know, Ben has also been going to campuses for years. I don't think that he's going to take it over. I'm just happy that Ben's going to get out there and do more campus stuff. I'm happy that Alex is going to do more campus stuff. I'm happy to do whatever it takes to help. I've been asked to do a campus tour. I don't think anyone would show up for me. I'm not Ben Shapiro. I'm not Alex Jones. But I'm certainly help him out with some AV, film some videos for social media, help do my best to, you know, hold the microphone for people during Q&A time. I'll do whatever. I'll participate. And the more people willing to do that, to go and take back these universities, that's what's changed. That's much. That is much optimism. That is positivity. I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, make sure to leave a like on it. If you haven't yet, please subscribe or follow down below, and we'll talk to you again real soon.